Did you know 70% of all divorces are initiated or started by women?
And what do they get out of it?
But
like,
you know,
men are logical. They're logical people. And so they're thinking, does the benefit outweigh the cost?
70% are women that are initiating divorces in this country. I don't think the old...
At this point, marriage is only getting worse, and more men are walking away from it.
A lot of women always talk about not doing wifey shit if you're not his wife. Okay.
80% of divorces are filed by women. And why is that?
Marriage is for broke men. I really believe it is. I don't think that a man worth any money should get married.
Once it was a beautiful thing, now it's causing chaos in the world. Be careful, fellas. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
And what do they get out of it?
But
like,
you know,
men are logical. They're logical people. And so they're thinking, does the benefit outweigh the cost? And like, I just think as women, we have to look at ourselves and say, the benefits we bring nowadays don't outweigh the cost for most men.
Women will check out before they leave, long before they leave. So when a woman is emotionally just spent in her relationship, she will stay for a specific time frame as she's mentally preparing herself to leave. But when she finally pulls the trigger to bounce and leave, she's gone.
So would you agree that the vast majority of divorces are initiated by women?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I do know that to be somewhat of a fact.
Well, men experience the same struggles as women in relationships as well. It isn't something that's just unique to women when they check out mentally. Some men endure abuse, feeling unheard, unsatisfied, and even disrespected. These men often stay longer because they don't want to walk away easily after years of building their family. Leaving their children would likely hurt them more than the abuse in the marriage. Men are often willing to endure more until they reach their breaking point. That's just the extent of their commitment.
Single check. If you're single, heart this. Comment where you're from.
Ouch. When a man's divorce settlement called for his ex-wife to get half of everything that he owns, well, he took that quite literally. He got out those power tools, went to work, cutting everything he owns right down the middle. He's not angry. Not at all, no. He's totally peaceful about this. And then he posted those photos on eBay, putting half of his car on sale for $60. Half his laptop is also available. Maybe half a couch could be called a love seat. Probably not in this case. But it is a true half-off sale. And what kind of a power tool can go right through a car, though?
The man is a genius. I don't know if it will just land him in court, but I love it. I know a guy who took apart his entire house and then gave his ex half the materials. We all thought about it. He actually did it. That's a hero. No one can sue him for doing that, but it seems funny. Gents, when you get married, have no assets in your name. Let your parents hold 98% of it, or set up a trust. Like they say, not all heroes wear capes. But this man was missing one crucial detail. He should have cut the house in half too. After all, she wanted half of everything he ever had. Picture the look on the realtor's face when they see a perfectly bisected house on the market. Talk about a unique property listing.
Women are not desirable right now. Everyone's a Kim Kardashian clone. I asked you earlier, what don't men want? And you said promiscuity. Well, that seems about the only thing that's being offered right now. When I open my Instagram and I've got butt cheeks and I'm going, people are like, I don't understand why no one wants to, this woman's been married 4 times. I'm like, well, I can understand it, because even if men think they want it in the short term, when you see a girl, she's half naked, she looks good. Yeah, sure. You probably do want to have sex with her. I bet you're wired that way. You're hardwired that way. Yeah. But then what happens after you have sex with her and you realize that so did 20 other dudes 100%. In the same week, you don't want her.
You nailed it. You absolutely not only nailed it.
Why shouldn't a woman go 50% with a man?
Because the man, they want that 100% respect, but you're doing 50-50. You can't get 100% respect or that title of, the man of the household when your woman is doing 50%. What are you providing? Nothing. So when people talk about 50%, they talk about, 50% of the bills. They're not talking about the children. Are you going to go 50-50 with me taking care of the children, changing diapers, cooking dinner? So I have to be 100% over here and then 50% on the bills. That's like 150 and you only have 50%. So I am going over you. And no, that's not fair. So no, women should not pay 50% of the bills because we do so much other stuff.
I pay 50% of the mortgage. We both cook and clean. I respect my husband, and he's treated me like a queen for 15 years. My husband helps with cooking and the kids, but I still hate doing 50-50. No security provided. I feel you. I guess I'm blessed. Because my husband and I both work and pay bills. He actually cooks more than I do. We both clean and handle the house. It's hard out here. I wouldn't want someone I love to struggle because of me. He can do majority, but I wouldn't let him do it all. People aren't equipped for marriage. If you are always fixated on self and not your spouse, your marriage will fail. Some women believe in 50-50, and some women don't. For the ones that don't believe in it, those are women who are entitled and really doesn't bring any value to a man's life. All they want is to be taken care of like she's one of his children. Her goal is simply to deplete you of all your worth. For the women that do, they understand that being with a man in marriage is having each other's backs. They add to your life, reciprocate, and in return, as her husband, you do the same. Marriage isn't about what you can get out of it. It's about growing together and helping each other do better and improve in the process. It's really teamwork. Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
I've decided after 2 years of consciously not dating that I'm now in my dating era. I'm currently waiting on a guy to come pick me up for our first date. I think we're doing like tacos and margs, and we're gonna go drive around a little bit because it's Sunday. Perfect day for it. He let me know that he's already going to be 45 minutes late. So this is dating. I'll keep you updated.
Welcome to the club.
Don't do wife duties for someone before they make you their wife, or a long-term relationship, whatever you want to call it. That is sleeping with someone, that is creating comfort in their home, and that is cooking their meals. Don't do that. It's a female manipulation. What you're trying to do there is you're trying to overperform wife duties in order to get husband duties from him. So when you do all those three things, you're expecting provision and protection from him, but don't do that. He's not your husband, and it's going to leave you with an exchange-like relationship before having agreed to the fact that you guys are life partners. So you would have overperformed these wife duties. He's accepted them, and then when he doesn't give you the protection and provision that you were trying to so elegantly manipulate him into, you are shocked and you're upset. Don't do those things unless someone has given you that title or has had that conversation or has moved forward with that. If you want to cook for him, go to restaurants, cook for your friends, do it in an atmosphere of everybody else doing it. You don't owe him to sleep with him. You don't owe him to make comfort in his home. And if you do those things, that's off your own back, and don't expect for him to provide for you, to pay your bills, or to look after you.
I completely disagree for marriage. You earn the ring before you get the ring. I feel useless just sitting around doing nothing, though. I just don't want to come across as lazy. I'm not trying to prove I would make a good wife. This is horrendous advice, oh my gosh. If you expect him to behave like a husband, you need to reciprocate. Otherwise, you're wasting his time. I disagree, because if a guy don't do something, then I won't be with him. But how can I do that if I'm not willing to do stuff for him? Double standards. Just do what feels natural. No need to play angles. Express your expectations clearly and don't play games. The worst kinds of advice always comes from bitter, lonely, manless women who aren't married themselves. I just can't believe the amount of women that actually listens to this kind of advice. Actually, I can believe it. But why would a man want to marry you when you prove you aren't worthy of the ring? Do women think just them existing and dating the man while they do nothing is enough for him to put a ring on it? That's just ridiculous. Even though these women aren't doing wife duties, they're still expecting the man to perform husband duties.
Marriage is for broke men. I really believe it is. I don't think that a man worth any money should get married. I think it's for broke guys, because society tells you as a man, it doesn't matter what women are asking for. You're supposed to still give them the upper hand. But why won't men just, I had a saying, I said, marriage is for broke men. I really believe it is. I don't think that a man worth any money should get married. I think it's for broke guys. If you living on a woman's couch, go ahead and marry that woman so you can get half if she leaves you. If I knew what I know now and what I've been preaching for the past, I'd say 20 years, I would have said that. But when I was saying it before, men looked at me like I was crazy, like I was a joke. I was almost like, I remember Bill Maher had to deal with someone who told them that eventually men are going to start saying that they're women and saying they can have babies. And that somebody put that show up. Bill Maher laughed. And it was 20 years ago. We're here now. So he laughed, and the left, Bill Maher, thought that that was ridiculous.
You know what's interesting about that topic? It's actually mostly women that say they're men, but people only care about issues when they affect women.
Well, because they only celebrate the effeminization of men. They can't celebrate the masculinization of women. Because if the society is trying to destroy masculinity, it doesn't want to see masculinity in any form.
Right.
Even if it's if it's a woman trying to convey what her idea of masculinity is, it's still toxic.
Yeah.
Well, marriage is for broke men indeed, because if they get married, they will be broke. Relax, I'm joking, but not really. Marriage in the West is just a bad deal, period. In other countries, some people actually still value marriage and those traditional roles. Marriage for men can have a lot of reasons in it. Some men want to pass down their legacy, build a family, etc. If that is you, then getting married in the West is just a bad idea, because that marriage will more likely produce a broke man at the end.
A lot of women always talk about not doing wifey shit if you're not his wife. Okay, I get it. He needs to upgrade you, right? The thing is, who a man picks is his biggest investment. Financially, mentally, physically, everything. So you're going to withhold certain parts of yourself on purpose until he makes that investment, that commitment to you. He's putting himself in a position to lose everything. But he doesn't get to see the type of wife you would be first. So he's buying this mystery box, essentially, not knowing what's inside it. And he's supposed to take all of that risk. Okay, do you want to be with a smart man? I'm sure you would, right? A smart man that makes, good investments. Does that sound like a good investment to you? To put half of everything that you have on something that you don't even get to fully see or experience beforehand? I mean, before you buy a house, you go look at the house. You might even have a professional come in and take a really good look at it to make sure it's a good investment. Same with buying cars or whatever. And I know I'm comparing women to inanimate objects. Women are obviously human beings, but the damage extends way beyond a breakup in the event of a divorce. It affects his livelihood in every way and his finances. So comparing a woman to a house or a car purchase is perfectly reasonable. Instead, do it this way. You want to move in with your boyfriend? Do it. Show him the type of wife you could be. Cook, clean for him, whatever. Give him a great, loving relationship. Obviously, in the early stage of a relationship, you should actually sit down and talk about that. If you want to get married one day, not everyone does. You need to be on the same page with that. And if you're on the same page with that, great. But the timing may be different. If you feel like you've been waiting too long, at that point you need to bring it up. Just talk to him about it. And if you've waited way too long, and you've discussed it with him multiple times, at that point you might want to call it quits. And all that value you provided wasn't for naught, you were simply contributing.
We get a mystery box. By mystery box, I mean a Pandora's box. When you live with a guy, he's giving you everything. He's doing all husband stuff. No excuse not to put everything in as well. If she's withholding wifely duties before they get married, he is definitely seeing exactly what she's like. If a woman won't do certain things before marriage, she certainly won't after. Women never change for the better after the wedding, ever. My now wife took my laundry from my apartment when we were dating and washed and folded it and brought it back. I fell in love. The mystery box. An exploding box of trauma, toxic feminist masculinity, anger, excessive expectations wrapped in a bag labeled standards. One thing these women don't realize is that guys commit to the marriage long before they even propose. For men, the decision to marry is made well before the shiny ring and elaborate wedding. We know that weddings are just the shiny objects most women demand before they can commit. It's just common sense to take a look at anything before making a purchase. Why would that change just because a man is getting married? That woman must prove herself before the ring. And it's not that we don't care about the ceremony. We do. But for us, the real commitment is the life we build together afterwards.
I think that we should normalize saying congratulations to people when they say that they're recently divorced or they got a divorce or anything in between, because there's been numerous times when I'm talking to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, like I just got a divorce, and I'm like, congratulations, and their face lights up and they're like, thank you, and I'm like, yeah man, absolutely. Some people never make it out. Some people remain unhappily married for the rest of their lives, and you didn't do that. Like, that's something to celebrate, man. That's good shit. Congratulations.
A lot of divorced women become real estate agents because they finally realize men don't appreciate it when you fix them. Only houses do.
I've always said, like, I want a nice guy.
Well, that's good, right?
Well, I've never said that. I've always been into, like, the dickheads or, like, the douchebags of the male community.
Oh, great. And I bet that's turned out so well.
Because I was so traumatized by them fuckers, I'm sitting there being like, I want a nice man. Like, why can't a guy just come into my life and be so nice and, like, be obsessed with me?
Oh, dear.
And then I find, like, a guy that's really nice, and I am so thrown off. Like, I really did find a guy who's, like, super fucking nice. Like, the most respectful, like, anything I really need, like, he's gonna do it for you.
But let me guess, there was a problem.
I'm sitting there like, like, I'm the problem. I'm the fucking problem.
Well, good for them and taking some accountability in this situation.
I do want a healthy relationship. Okay, I really do. More than anything, that's what I want.
Then probably start dating guys that aren't on the toxic side.
I think I just still need a guy who, like, gives me a run for my money. I'm so the fucking problem because, like, you're nice. Like, literally, like, Connor from Love Island vibes. But, like, it's just too nice.
I don't even have to say much here because they really said it all. Because that type of mentality is the problem and why so many women can't find healthy relationships. Because they want everything that goes with a healthy relationship, except the guy that would go with it.
Great. Date those guys so you can take out the trauma you have on the good men who don't deserve it. Outstanding. When one is used to toxicity, a healthy relationship will seem boring, and it's a trauma response. Because they think sweet and caring isn't exciting compared to someone who is hot and cold. They are addicted to the emotional highs and lows. I felt this way for a long time. I didn't even realize what I was doing until I got older. Maybe she's too young. I didn't get married until 37 after I met a really great guy and realized I was the problem. It's nearly impossible for women who have been in toxic relationships to transition to a nice and peaceful relationship with a good guy. These women are often operating on the thrill effect and the excitement that comes from the drama within the relationship. They're used to the highs and lows, the roller coaster of emotions that toxic relationships bring. When they find themselves with a genuinely good guy, the stability can feel unfamiliar and even boring. It's like going from a constant adrenaline rush to a calm, steady heartbeat. They don't know how to handle it. The absence of chaos can make them feel uneasy, leading them to unintentionally sabotage the relationship.
70% of divorces are filed by women, and over 50% of divorced wives never want to remarry. And get this, only 30% of men express that same sentiment. So what do I take from this? Well, men, treat your women right. Marriage is a delicate contract. The percentage of successful marriages are not in your favor. Some people might get depressed or downright cynical about this fact. Not me. I think it shows just how sacred a lasting marriage can be. Now, this doesn't mean the marathon runners among us are better than anyone else, even if they brag about their PRs. But it does mean that marriage isn't something to be taken lightly. If there's a chance to fix it, I say go for it. Remember, life is long, which ultimately can be a reason to stay or a reason to move on.
Treat them right, men, even though they will still cheat. I'll never get married again, because I'll never go through divorce again. Take that how you want. She has a great point of view for marriage. Men, it's in your best interest to not get married. It's funny how men has to treat the woman right, but the woman is never taught to treat their man right. Stay single, kings. It's no surprise that when a marriage ends, the fingers are always pointed at the guy, just as this woman just did. If anything, that 75% isn't the man's fault all the time. Just look at the female-on-female divorce rates. It's 75%, and male-on-male divorce rates are 24%. Something that men have come to realize is that peace is priceless, and divorce is just punishment for being the better spouse.